no grudges held or anything like that. We are going to get right into the map draft here. IDDQD versus Impulse 11. Impulse 11, an interesting team as they actually chose to take a team to Anubis, had a strategy on it. So I would not be surprised to see some curveballs coming out of them. But what's interesting already is that IDDQD banned out Dorado. Impulse 11 responses banning out Ilias. IDDQD then bans out Numbani.
Yeah, Numbani going down, and Numbani actually really not a favorite of a whole lot of teams in recent memory. Again, this is sort of where maps go in and out of vogue. We had weeks where it was nothing but Numbani, but now taking a look at it, Numbani gets taken out. Route 66 goes down to IDDQD.
What is happening?
This might be a first, actually, for IDDQD in recent memory, where they haven't banned Route 66 with their first ban.
Yeah, I mean, just interesting bans coming out already. Dorado is a map that I always imagine IDDQD being pretty good on because of their defense. But mostly just we're getting all the payloads banned out. This is our map pool. It's Kings Row, Nepal, Hanamura, Hollywood, and Temple of Anubis. 2 control point maps in this.
At 2 control point. Yeah, like Hanamura, Temple, Anubis. I mean, we're getting flashbacks to last night right now, Hex. Hopefully not without the, God, someone should go back and do a counter on how many times we had to restart to get Temple of Anubis to work for the second time. I mean, we had to be over 10.
Yeah, it was
if not more.
At least 5 or 6. I wanted to go to bed, but I wanted to see how it ended as well. Really, really soldiering through that one, ZP. You guys did a good job last night actually getting it done. So that's our map pool. Nepal is in there. Hanamura is in there. Nepal, also a map that IDDQD has traditionally struggled on, so it'll be interesting to see if we go there today. Our first map...
Temple of Anubis could be the first. I think IDDQD will take it out and we'll go to Kings Row, but...
Yeah.
Oh man, what to see Temple of Anubis get that far in, I feel like the teams are actually sort of out-metaing themselves at this point. Like, I don't know.
You have to get good at those now, especially since we're running best of 5s here. If there's maps that you think your opponent's strong on, of course you want to ban those out, and that leaves the control point maps in the pool. So very much not like Beta 1, we're running mostly best of 3s, and teams, the map pool was big enough that you never really had to worry about control points. We saw very few control points, I think 1 in like the first month and a half of doing casts. But now it's something that teams have to prepare for. However, we're starting the day in Overwatch, and it seems that we always start on Kings Row.
Yep, Kings Row, very often sort of the first map of choice for everyone except Envious. Envious yesterday in their set against LG, I think they banned Kings Row pretty early in every map draft. Or, well, they banned in their map draft for LG and Cloud9, I should say. But, yeah, I mean, in general, most teams see Kings Row as neutral territory.
Yeah, and like since I was not, in the cast last night for NA, I just want to talk briefly about it. I mean, one, great cast. It was awesome. It went so long, but I think we had good numbers. Everyone stuck with us through the end there, and LG new roster looks really good.
Yeah, no, LG, I mean, they look dramatically improved. God's real, I sort of feel like it's God's coming in, sort of providing a lift that allowed Enigma and Seagull to really not have all the weight on their shoulders, look more for opportunities, and also provide another threat. I mean, you think about how teams go after people, right? If you have to worry about Gods because he's getting, double and triple kills left, right, and center, you're not as focused on Enigma and Seagull, and that's going to open them up for more opportunities. It's sort of, if anyone follows American football, those, of course, you might go, what? Hand egg? But it's like the idea if a team has multiple good wide receivers where you could double cover one wide receiver, but it's going to leave other people open to do work. And I think you have sort of that dynamic going on LG. God's a very, very good pickup for them thus far.
Yeah, it's kind of a trend we've seen in Overwatch that you have to have a well-rounded roster and a complete roster, and it's not because you're missing that one piece. It's that one piece allows everyone else to get better. We've seen it also in Cloud9, former Google Me, when they were, not struggling ever, but when, maybe they were a little more beatable, at least because they don't really look beatable now. It's when Reaver wasn't having his best games. Now when Reaver picks it up, then you can't double team Shore for, to use your analogy, and he goes off. We've seen it with Reunited. They added Cruz in there, and Cruz can take up some of the slack of flexing into that second support when they want it. So Too Easy and Unfixed get to go off a lot more. So really adding in that 6 piece is not necessarily about what they bring individually, but what they can bring to your team effort and open up opportunities for the rest of the guys.
Yeah, and I mean, it just sort of shows, it is a team game. Every piece matters, and that's why it's also hard to judge things in a vacuum. I mean, we've seen time and time again now in Overwatch where just the addition or subtraction of one player can make a huge difference for a team in terms of what opportunities are available. I mean, even Taimu, for example, taking a look at him with Tivik on his backup, Taimu with Tivik, he looks way better than without Tivik, and I don't think that's because Taimu's skill level is just, fluctuating up and down regardless of whether or not Tivik is with, or Tivik being in the game game or not. I think it's just when Tivik is there, people are focusing more on Tivik, and it opens up Taimu for more opportunities.
Right. I miss him being called Pluppy because it was very easy to pronounce. I actually talked to him this morning. I got in Discord, got in the voice channel with him. I'm like, you need to teach me how to pronounce your name. Do your best. Do your best. And he's like, Tivik. And I'm like, Tivik. And he's like, Tivik.
Tivik.
I'm like, Tivik. You know, it's that back and forth when you're trying to pronounce something right. I'm like, I swear I'm saying what you're saying, but it's Tivik. I told him, like, it's hard in the English language because most of our T's are very hard. So it'd be like Tivik,
Yes.
you know. But so we're going to try to get our European on today and go Tivik. Just like the slightest hint of a T in there somewhere. So we're working on it, guys. Trust me, it's an issue we're looking to resolve.
Yep, but for that, just, TIV-IC.
Sure.
I think we're on a much better track for pronouncing his name.
Yeah, doing a little better. And then, of course, Nabridgebup. Yes, we know he goes by Harry Hook. Yes, we know his name's supposed to be Never Give Up. I really like saying Nabridgebup, and I'm going to continue to do so.
Up until the point where he becomes Harry Hook in game, then, the party is over, but maybe you could throw it in from time to time. But we are going to get in game here in just a moment. This is going to be map number 1 of our set number 1 of 5 sets today. So buckle in, get some food, do whatever you need to, because Overwatch is going to be going on all day today. Some of the best games in the EU region. And what better to start out with than IDDQD versus Impulse 11?
Yeah, IDDQD on Kings Row. This is one of my favorite maps to watch them on. It's going to be interesting to see if they do put Tivik, I already did it, Tivik on Junkrat, on his Junkrat alley. We've seen teams kind of shy away from it a little bit, and if they do run a Junkrat, not put him necessarily out there, but he is one of the few people who can kind of carry his own weight over there, never really gets knocked off by a combo or the assassins they send over to him too. So be interesting to see the defense here, and also to see if they're going to bust out the Hanzo strat, which has been an IDDQD staple for the most part.
Yep, Hanzo strat, we even saw LG bringing that out yesterday, so LG bring that to NA at the very least. It's a cool strategy. I mean, honestly, I guess for the defending team, it's a little bit frustrating when you do get randoed out, but from the observer point of view, watching all those arrows come in can be pretty exciting. That being said, taking a look at the defense, rolling out for the IDDQD side, Internet Hulk getting boosted with great haste by all those Lucios. He's going to be on the Symmetra, Tivik going to be on his favorite Junkrat, Coco on Reinhardt, Taimu on the McCree, Nabridgebup on Lucio and Chipsgen, rounding things out on the Zenyatta.
Yeah, so pretty standard play coming out here. It's just, we mentioned like the 1 or 2 games we saw Nabridgebups and Chips have to kind of flex off of their dedicated supports, and it looked like a completely fish out of water situation. Good to see the roster solidifying now, and Tivik back on that Junkrat. Offensively, though, and I don't think this is a mistake, Nevix is going to be coming out on Junkrat. He has had great offensive Junkrat games on Kings Row specifically. Hysterica will be on the Lucio. Zebo's going to start it off on Widow, looking for those picks early. IDDQD, the player, not the team. Just try to stick with us on that one. He'll be on McCree. Vonatha will be on Reinhardt, and likely will be running the Mercy.
Oh yeah, I forgot about the Impulse with the player IDDQD. Try not to get too confused, because we're going to try not to get too confused. Both teams now trading off poke here to start off. Junkrat bombs going out. Nevix shooting over the top. Tivik shooting out into his team. This is the opening that we've come to expect here on Kings Row. We'll see just what Impulse 11 does here in a moment. Meanwhile, we do have Zebosai looking for those pickoffs on Widow. Does have a shot, almost gets the Lucio. Not getting it just yet. Landing some good fire here early on. It can be very, very difficult to get those Widow picks early on here on Kings Row, but both teams looking for that. Taimu, though, first blood of the game, able to take out IDDQD. He gets a flashbang. Down goes Hysterica. Tivik with the backup. And that's going to be a quick double kill for IDDQD and the hold.
Yeah, losing those 2 heroes early, then Zebo goes down late. It really just kind of spells an end to the push. The push is actually so difficult to do early on, but really on offense, you want to be getting at least the first kill or at least a trade early on. Did not work out, but we do see the interesting strategy of putting Tivik not on Junkrat Alley, as it were, but down with the rest of the team.
So taking a look here, the offense impulse on starting to go back in again, but no, Tivik able to take out IDDQD. Zebo with the pick on Taimu, 5v5. Charge comes in from Coco, just smashes Hysterica against the wall. Another charge coming in. Really good stuff from the IDDQD side here. And this is going to be another hold, and Tivik still has a tire reserve as well.
Yeah, some weird use of ultimates there, though, as the tire comes in late after a couple of trades, doesn't get anything done. Then the res comes after the tire got nothing done, too. So interesting use of ultimates there for my team Impulse 11.
And look at this, Tivik and Taimu going in, being very aggressive. Pick up another 2 kills for the defense. There's someone here in the offense in the alleyway. Zebosai, not long for this world, getting it taken out by that concussive mine. And IDDQD's defense looks a lot better than we've seen it in recent memory. I mean, this is more the IDDQD of old when it comes to holding on King's Row.
Yeah, I mean, this was a map that was very hard for teams to even take first point on them. Now it's going to be even extra difficult as the teleporter is up in a rather safe position. They don't necessarily even have the flanking classes to get back there and deal with it.
Sending bridge up here, could be drumming some bear. Do you see the offensive Earthshatter goes down from Vonethil. Doesn't quite get what he's looking for. Both teams still alive. Vonethil, though, going to get taken out by Chips. Nevix takes out Coco. 5v5 on the point. Tivik able to go in. Gets likely. Nevix striking right back. Very even fight here so far. Taking a look at Zebosai. Zebosai looking for pickoffs. Is able to take out Taimu. And now Impulse 11 with an opportunity here. They're slowly putting this in their advantage. Zebosai with the big pick on the Chips. And now he's going to move forward, look for the offensive Widow picks, and Impulse 11 in a really good position here.
Yeah, they are going to be coming back, and off of this teleporter, Zebo is above the teleporter in that archway, but it looks like they're going to be reinforced. Here comes a tire.
A tire from Tivik, gets in the back, gets the double kill. The tire could be the difference maker here. Impulse 11 was looking like they're going to take this, but IDDQD off the teleporter comes back in. The tire from Tivik really doing some work, and
yeah,
there you have it.
There's nothing more helpless feeling than being a Reinhardt, seeing a tire coming towards you. You don't have the mobility, nothing to really do about it. You know it's just going to jump right through your shield and chunk you down. Coco just gets taken out there. Here comes the offensive tire, though.
Yeah, offensive tower coming in from Nevix. There is a Transcendence, but that doesn't really do anything against the burst damage of the tire. We'll save the Zenyatta for a little bit. Down goes the tire, though. Will take out Chips when it goes off, but look at Taimu. Taimu striking back with a double kill of his own. IDDQD coming in over the top with a triple kill. He's going to go down in the end, and Coco and Internet Hulk able to hold on for a moment. Note that there is no teleporter up for IDDQD right now. Internet Hulk just choking that back up.
Yeah, Nevix going ham. He takes out Coco early, then he wins his one-on-one versus Nabridgeabub, takes the point all by himself. Early on, too, he got a decent tire that they got through the house. Nevix carrying right now.
Yeah, Nevix was able to get Internet Hulk with the concussive mine towards the end. Taimu comes in, takes out Nevix, and you have the reinforcements coming in from the IDDQD side off that teleporter. That teleporter doing a lot of work. Good for them that they got out towards the end, otherwise they would have lost the point. Down goes Vonethil to a charge from Coco.
All right, so they do have a brief window now where the teleporter is down, out of charges. There's not going to be the quick reinforcements coming up for defense, so the next push could be their best opportunity. Nevix comes off his Junkrat despite his great play and is going to actually come up as a Zarya here.
Yeah, that's interesting to see the Junkrat switch, the Zarya switch right at the end, because he's not going to have time to really build that Zarya ult. I guess they're just hoping that they get this here and he gets the Zarya ult for the streets phase. IDDQD coming out with the Deadeye. He's going to get taken out immediately by Taimu. No value to be had. That is 4 kills for the IDDQD side. Defensive sound barrier is down. Tivik getting into the back, gets a double kill, and Impulse 11 might be on their last breath here. They are getting bullied out by IDDQD, and they might not even take point A.
Yeah, I mean, they used their ult correctly there. They had a chance to swing it around and resurrect it, and immediately after the resurrection was a sound barrier, but they were unable to capitalize it. Tivik comes up on the Tracer, and he's cleaning up the backlines as well. He's almost got Pulse Bomb ready. There's a Transcendence back up for the defense.
Look at that. Look at that Deadeye from Taimu. It stopped Zebosai from getting in and extending the overtime. Down goes Hysterica to fan the hammer. Wow. And IDDQD with the return to form, a big hold on point A. Very, very impressive coming out from IDDQD.
Yeah, I mean, just really nice hold. There were some trades early on, but, you know, even though there wasn't a full team wipe necessarily, they were always getting the better half of those engagements, and that teleporter up early, with, you know, kind of shut the door on them. They had a window to take it, but the reinforcements were able to trickle in, and despite Nevix's really nice play and his one-on-one wins, just not enough kills strung together for Impulse 11 to take that point.
So now, relatively easy task here for IDDQD now. They just need to take point A. Of course, Impulse 11, we've seen really good defenses come out from them. It's not going to be entirely painless, but the win condition, very, very simple here for IDDQD.
Yeah, it's tough. IDDQD made it look easy, but that has been their trademark in their roster. When I think of IDDQD and everyone's got kind of their signature maps and signature moments, I think of King's Row first defense. And just mostly it's been Pluppy in that alley. He wasn't in that alley this time, but this has been a trend for them. They're able to hold on King's Row. They feel very comfortable on defense on this map. And the only way that Impulse 11 doesn't lose this map is by holding the entire time. So we'll see what they have coming up, but it does look like, at least they're queuing up for it, we're going to see a Hanzo strategy coming out on offense.
Yep, IDDQD return the form. They are going to be coming out with the 5 Hanzos. hell will be unleashed from them. So
yeah, so if
cool
you're
stuff
if
coming
you're
out there.
new, we do have new viewers in Overwatch as people are prepping for perhaps their open weekend test run here. Hanzo strategy on this map: you go to 5 or 6 Hanzos. IDDQD runs 5, and they damage boost them with the Mercy there, and then you just scattershot the hell out of the point and hope that it kills someone. And more often than you would expect, it does kill someone, and that's essentially puts you in a 6v5 right away and gets you the point almost for free. Once you see a kill come off of that strat, it's very hard for the defense to hold. So we'll see if they get anything here, praying to the RNGesus up there to let their scatter arrows be guided.
Yep. Well, taking a look at the defense coming out from Impulse 11, we are going to have Vonathil on the Reinhardt, Hysterica on Lucio, Nevix on the Symmetra, likely on Zenyatta, IDDQD, of course on the McCree and Zebosai on the defensive Junkrat. So IDDQD staying in as a McCree specialist, no surprises there. Zebo on the Junkrat, we've seen a lot of that from here recently. But the real question here is, will the Hanzos get value as they rain down scatter arrows? Simple geometry heading your way.
Yeah, I mean, the likely targets here to die are actually the player likely and Nevix, seeing as they're important and they're playing supports, and it just seems to always seek out supports.
Here comes the scatter arrows here, and they have a real chance. People are getting peppered on the defense here, but no kill will be had. They are able to survive the initial onslaught. Let's take a look at Tivik here as he comes in over as the Pharah.
Yeah, Tivik on the Pharah and Chips are going to be trying to go over. Oftentimes they will hug that building if he's not getting the poke in over here. He takes an alternate route in, though.
Yep, Coco goes in, takes up Vonthel, likely on the Coco, 5v5. Tivik over the top, landing a lot of good harassment here. Likely, though, striking back, it's a double kill as Zenyatta.
Yeah, so now the combo completely isolated. They are somewhat safe right now because there's no one to really get up there and deal with that. They are going to be trying to pepper it. IDDQD, the player McCree, takes out in a bridge above.
This is a little bit rough right now for the side of IDDQD. I mean, Tivik is able to take out Zebosai, but him and the Mercy are very
Chips fell.
Separated here. Tivik is alive, but perhaps not for long. The offense is, though, starting to get back over. Tivik almost dead. IDDQD absolutely going ham, though, on the McCree. Picks up a double kill so far. Looks for Internet Hulk. Makes it a triple. And that being said, IDDQD coming right back with the multiple kills here. They're using the respawn advantage of being attackers very well. They're moving in, and they still might take this yet.
Yeah, no teleporter ever dropped down for the defense here. Nevix was at 95%. They have to discharge this.
Zebosai just got crunched. Justice Rain for above. Tivik with the double kill. Timing with the cleanup. And IDDQD going to take the point. And that's map number 1 to IDDQD in a pretty decisive fashion.
Yeah, I mean, the initiation from the Pharah and then to get back there was actually really smart, because not only is it going to distract the other team, but they didn't have the roster of heroes to be able to get up to that high ground efficiently or quickly enough to go deal with that. Tivik stayed alive back there. He was able to take out Nevix on the Junkrat, and because he was the only mobile high ground character there, they had no answer to him and really just kind of rained damage on them until the rest of his team was able to come cap it.
Yep, definitely worked out really well for them. We've seen the Pharah, of course, do work, and really just IDDQD, very good positioning, very good sort of, and when they do die on offense, it usually makes something worthwhile as well. So, and getting those trades, offense versus defense early on, I mean, it works on your favor, especially when there's no defensive teleporter.
Yeah, that's why we always mention how crucial those first couple pushes are, and maybe they don't get the entire point, maybe they get a third, but really trying to take out that Symmetra too. Once the defense gets their teleporter up and running, it is very difficult, and then you almost have to decide, do we switch to someone who can get back there and deal with that teleporter, because it becomes a priority target. Unexpected server error. Well, no, that was totally unexpected.
It begins. Hopefully it doesn't begin after what happened last night, but... oh man, last night with some of the server errors. I mean, the thing is, it wasn't even all Overwatch's fault. For those who are wondering what was going on, I mean, a lot of it was players getting disconnected from their own Mumble servers. It was just pandemonium on the internet in general, really. Nevik saying, quote, "My game keeps crashing." That's not good. But for those who are just tuning in, we do have a really weird map pool here. Both Temple of Anubis and Hanamura are on the table. If the only other payload map, in fact, available here for Impulse 11 is Hollywood, because the remaining map pool, I believe, is Hanamura, Temple, Hollywood, and Nepal. So only one more payload map in the set no matter what. So we're guaranteed to at least see either Capture Point or King of the Hill by map number 3.
Yeah, maybe Impulse 11 is able to take one. They need to get on the board. They've played 4 games so far in our tournament here and have not won any of them. So they need to start getting on the board here.
Yeah, definitely. And for Impulse 11, you don't want to go 0-6. I mean, there have been many teams in our group stages so far that have gone 0-6. It's not a good feeling. Of course, it makes the threshold for getting back into the cup very, very difficult, because I think the way things work out here is that it's the top 2 teams in each division that play against each other, and then the winner of those play against each other in grand finals. So you have to be top 2 in standings, and if you go 0-6, on a day, that's going to make it way more difficult.
Yeah, and the next map is Anubis. This is a map that we've seen Impulse 11 run before. They ran it in One Nation of Gamers, and this is one that I found very interesting because they had a strategy for it. They ran an offensive Mei, and they kind of did a quasi-tank move, because Anubis is very hard to get in, even on first point. They walked in, put up a wall, got to the left side, that kind of flanking area towards large pack. We're able to initiate that way. So it's a map that I feel that they have at least a strategy on. We'll see if they're able to execute it.
Yeah, and I'm just surprised we are going to Temple of Anubis for the second map. I mean, the day has come, Hex. We're seeing way more Temple of Anubis in comp play. I think it's one of those things where the teams they're not really preferring to go on it a lot of the time, but it's getting into the map pool anyways. And maybe teams are starting to learn how to play on these maps and go, you know what, we might as well make it a competitive advantage.
Yeah, I mean, the bottom line is you have to learn how to play on these maps, and you have to have a strategy for them as well. As I always mention, too, teams that maybe thought they were at a disadvantage in the set, that they were going against a higher level opponent, they should be scrimming these maps and taking them in King of the Hill and Capture Point, because those are a little more variable, and also that the other team maybe not scrimming on them, so you can throw kind of a curveball at it. Now, what used to be a curveball is now becoming just your standard fastball right down the plate, as teams have been going more and more to capture points. But I would say, based on the limited experience we have watching these maps, that I would almost favor Impulse 11 for Anubis.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to say. I could see it go breaking either way. Impulse 11, I think they've had more experience on sort of the off maps. IDDQD has generally avoided them. But then again, IDDQD, I mean, if they can channel some of the power of their older performances, they've done really well in capture point maps. I mean, they've been brought to capture point maps for map number 5s throughout time. They've done pretty well. So we'll see what they do here today. But we are loading in here. This is going to be IDDQD versus Impulse 11. In map number 2 here in our group stages.
I gotta say, it may not be my favorite map to play, although I'm warming a little on Anubis. The one thing that they did change a while back was opening up the left side of last point, which I thought was a very smart move. I don't know why that wall was ever there. But I'm actually really enjoying watching it because I don't have to play on it, but it's really cool to see the different strategies that come out on, because it is a map with a very unique kind of meta and composition, all of its own, really.
Yep, Widowmaker definitely featuring in highly to that meta. We've been seeing teams favor a lot both on defense and offense. And speaking of the defense, looking at Impulse 11 as they run out here, we're going to have Hysterica on the Lucio, Nevix on Symmetra, likely on Mercy, Zebosai on the Widowmaker, Vonathil on Reinhardt, and IDDQD, the player, on the McCree.
Yeah, offensively, I'm going to take my time on this. It's a very hard name to pronounce. Tvik will be on McCree. Yeah, I mean, the thing is, when I'm speaking fast, I kind of just run over it, and I'm like, Tvik. Yeah, very, very southern USA, even though I'm not from the south. Anyway, so Tvik will be on McCree, Internet Hulk on offensive, Zarya Coco will be on Reinhardt, Nabridgebup, Harry Hook, Never Give Up will be on Lucio, Taimu on the offensive Widow, and Chips will be playing the Mercy. I would not be surprised to see Taimu come looking for a grapple early on, and Chips on his back damage boosting him. I think that's how the fight's going to start, or the map's going to start, rather.
Very likely, but one thing we saw, of course, coming up from LG on their defense here and trying to deal with Tailspin on the defense is that they were very content just throwing most of their team behind the Reinhardt, and it was very effective yesterday. So we'll see if Impulse 11 takes any tips from that experience, and it looks like that's exactly what they're doing. But we see the offense moving in here, not wasting any time. Taimu looking for pickoffs. Doesn't really have anything to get just yet. Does have a clean shot on the Widow, and McCree not able to connect it. And he's going to get taken out by Zebosai for first play of the game. Internet Hulk, though, striking right back, takes out Vonathil. And IDDQD not wasting any time getting onto this point here. So even though they've lost Taimu, they're still making it happen. They're on the point. But we're going to see who gets the next pickoff here. Both teams trading off. Coco able to take out likely. Zebosai still on the defensive Widow, not getting as much done as he would like. Internet Hulk onto that Taimu comes back, takes out Zebosai, and now IDDQD with a good chance of getting a very quick cap on point
This
A.
teleporter might lose them the game or win them the game. They're going to get on the point, able to contest at the very last second, able to reinforce from above. Now, why would it lose them the game? Because if they lost the point there and were trying to reinforce in the back, it would open up second point. IDDQD.
Second point is going to be opened up here. They're all dead, and IDDQD, they smell blood. They are moving forward. They want to end this map in record time, and we'll see if the defense can get set up in time or not. Zebosai, though, is able to get a very key pickoff on the Tivik. They're going to force a res a little bit early, but look at that. They're already on the point. Almost 2/3 already capped here. Graviton surges out. That's going to grab Nevix and Vonathil. They're both going to go down. The kill feed filling with red for IDDQD. Resurrect is up. Mercy comes in. Will it be enough? Coco immediately going to charge in on the Nevix. Still, IDDQD dominating here. And really not much hope left for the defense. They're going to get pushed out, and that was an incredibly fast time being set by IDDQD.
You have to know when the first point is lost. I thought the teleporter came down. It was a very risky teleporter. It was a gamble there towards the end as they were able to reinforce through there, but they were trickled in while the team was still on the cap. Were able to get kind of cleaned up a little bit. Zebo was so out of position and behind. He did get a kill, but it was essentially a 5v6 coming into that because Zebo came through that teleporter on the back end, and that is the momentum that you can see win this map. That was a really gutsy initiation. Buck 38. Minute 38.
Minute 38, I think that's the quickest time we've ever seen on Anubis. Not that we have a huge sample size, but our next quickest time I think was maybe like a minute 44 from IDDQD in the past. So a very quick time, and Impulse 11 going to have their work cut out for them. They can't get wiped at any point. A single team wipe will be mapped for IDDQD.
I think Impulse 11 was really caught off guard there just based on how courageous the initiation was from IDDQD. They walked right through them. They were all posted up on the bridge over the high ground, and I think as a defense, you're like, there's no way they're just going to ignore us and go right under the bridge. They ignored them and went right under the bridge and just got on point. They were unable to clean up and do the damage from the top position that they had cleaned up, and I think they were just really surprised. They thought they were going to fight outside there. IDDQD changed the game, changed the positioning on them, and they were unable to deal with that first point at all.
Yeah, that was just, I mean, that was relentless. That was IDDQD. Oftentimes, teams will take a slower approach. IDDQD, though, just taking the approach of knocking down the front door, kicking it in, moving forward, and it worked out. And the interesting part to me is how they got on the point, and both teams really did suffer a deaths for a while. You did have the quick pickoffs on both sides, but it was 5v5 for a long time on that point.
Yeah, I mean, I go back to the teleporter, which is such a crucial part of this game, especially in control point maps where the walk is so long. Yes, you want the teleporter up. It came a little late while the fight was already happening. They're already at a disadvantage, and I think the people coming through the teleporter, you know, they were courageous. They were trying to stall out the point, but I think getting them back into that fight where it was already kind of lost, in my opinion, lost them the second point as well as the first.
Yep, well, taking a look at the defense coming out from IDDQD, a defense that does not have to hold out for long. We're going to have Coco on the Reinhardt, Nabridgebup on the Symmetra, Taimu on Widowmaker, Chipsagen on Mercy, Tivik on the Junkrat, and Internet Hulk rounding things out on the Reaper.
Offensively, it looks like they're not going to run the Mei strategy that worked out well for them early on. Hysterica's going to be on Lucio. IDDQD, the player, not the team, is going to be on McCree. Nevix on offensive. Zarya, Vonathil on Reinhardt. I almost called him on Coco. Zebosai on Widowmaker, and likely on Mercy. You know, I see these players associated with these heroes so often that I've done it more than once. I said someone was on Morte the other day while they were playing Mercy.
Yeah, I've been guilty of the same. Oh my goodness, a very quick double kill coming up from Tivik. He almost has tire. He landed some bombs directly onto the bulk of the defense, or of the offense. Blink and you miss it, and there's the team kill horn. And that might already be game.
It's close to it. That was a very impressive opening salvo, if you will, from Tivik on Junkrat. And now they have to go. They just have to go for it now.
They can't wait. They have to go in. They run right into Concussive Mine. Though Vonathil swinging the hammer wildly, about to go down. Tivik still throwing down spam onto the point. Could bring out the tire at any moment. Just bops Vonathil in the head. And IDDQD looking absolutely strong here on their Anubis defense.
I mean, just the kill feed is so in favor. They're already calling GG. That first push failed, second push failed as well. And that is a very quick map on Anubis for IDDQD.
I mean, there's nothing too much more to say. I mean, that was just blazing fast. We're going to go back to lobby, but Tivik with the solid Junkrat defense coming in the clutch yet again.
Yeah, I mean, control point maps are so much even more momentum based than the other maps in Overwatch, and every map in Overwatch is very momentum based. But if you can get a first couple kills, especially on control points, especially those first pushes where they can't reinforce on defense, and the walk is so long, it's just your map. Then the first pushes really decide those maps more than any other.
Now, here's the real question, Hex. Are we going to go to Hanamura? Can we make the dream, have 2 capture point maps in the same set?
Well, that is up to Impulse 11. They did take us to Anubis, so we'll see.
I mean, we did have that potential last night. If Envious was able to bring it back against LG on Anubis, we would have went back-to-back Anubis to Hanamura. Maybe the dream will be real here today. I'm not sure what sort of dream that is, but it's a dream of some sort.
Yeah, if I'm Impulse 11 and we're going into a decider map here, as IDDQD is up 2 games, I take them to Nepal. It is the map that IDDQD has been weakest on historically. No matter what roster they're running, they struggle on Nepal, and I think that is going to be the choice, as that is the map that is queued up. It's their weakest map. There's no 2 other ways about it. It's the map that they lose the most. We've heard different kind of reasoning and or excuses from IDDQD, but I think they know it's their weakest map, so maybe they put in some work on it. But definitely the right choice to take them to Nepal, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, historically, even when IDDQD has been at their absolute greatest, this map has been their kryptonite. That's where you bring IDDQD when you want them to lose. But IDDQD has looked very, very strong today, stronger than they've looked in the last few weeks, ever since the roster changeup. So I do think Impulse 11 is going to have their work cut out for them here on Nepal.
Impulse 11 is a team that we saw get better every single game as they played in One Nation of Gamers, and I kind of expect the same thing through our league too. A very kind of newish team. The roster is still trying to gel together. Of course, these are all veteran players who've been all across different rosters. They might have the advantage in so much that they have kind of inside info on nearly every team in Europe, because they've all been on nearly every team in Europe.
Tivik has, if nothing else, back in the good old days of, hey, it's Pluppy. He's on every team imaginable.
Right, but, Likely's been on different teams. Vonathil's been on different teams. IDDQD, the player, has been on IDDQD, the team. I actually mentioned that to him because there was talks that he was going to join up with that roster before Impulse 11 made their run. And I had a little conversation with him. He's like, because I had said as well, like, after that run Impulse 11 would be on, he might want to stick with Impulse 11. They played really well with him, and he played great in that tournament for them. And he mentioned, yeah, I'm a loyal guy. We're going to see how this goes with Impulse 11. We're going to give it a shot here. So as the roster remains stable and they have more time to play together, I think Impulse 11 should be getting better as we go forward.
Yeah, I mean, Impulse 11, they've been a team on the rise. I mean, even if they do have a less than stellar showing in the tournament here today, they've been getting better over time. I mean, you don't have to go from 0 to the #1 team in one go. It can be a process. It can take a few months. And Impulse 11, if they keep at it, I think they're going to get much better as time goes on.
Well, they need to win Nepal here, if only for morale's sake. It is the best of 5. This is the 3rd game of the set, and they've yet to win a map in this tournament so far. And really, at a certain point, you just need it just for your confidence boost. Even if it's the only map they end up winning today, of course, they'll be our final set of the day as well. But you don't want to start off in league play at 0-6. I mean, that's obvious, right? But this is their best chance to win a map against IDDQD, in my opinion, on Nepal.
Yeah, like we were talking earlier, right. This is IDDQD's kryptonite, at least on paper, when you look at the statistics. So if there is a chance to take out IDDQD here for Impulse 11, Nepal is probably their best overall option. Yeah. But I will say this. When IDDQD was losing on Nepal, that happened back when people weren't anywhere near as comfortable on King of the Hill. I feel like people have had a lot more time to study King of the Hill, a lot more time to look at what works. Yeah. So I think sort of the early advantage of going, hey, we've mastered King of the Hill before other teams is probably starting to fade away a little bit. Yes,
very likely. It'll be interesting to see the compositions on this map, because the NA compositions on this map have been very hit scan oriented, sometimes often some mirror matches as well. Soldier 76s and double tracers have played into this, double Winstons, double Lucios. However, my overall feeling, and I'd have to look at the stats, but after all the Overwatch I watch, EU does not double up on heroes as much as NA. So we generally don't see too many double ups here, but King of the Hill can be an exception to that because some heroes are just very good on King of the Hill. I do want to see what rosters they end up running here. It does look like Impulse 11 is at least going to start off favoring Double Tracer.
Yep, Double Tracer has been one of the key comps we've seen. Interesting that they're only running one Winston. We've seen a lot of double Winston here on King of the Hill. And, there's a lot to be said for that comp. Not every team can run it well. Obviously, Cloud9 probably runs it the best right now. But the upside of the double wins is that you usually get control of the point first, and you can stall out for a long time when you're losing control. So we'll see if either team pulls it out here. But looking at the rosters, we're not going to get any of that double Winston action. Instead, for the side of Impulse 11, we're going to have likely on the Zenyatta, Hysterica on Lucio, Nevix on the Genji, Vonethil on Winston, and IDDQD and Zebo on a pair of Tracers. And we are getting right into the action. Both teams engaging on this high ground. And Coco going down first, likely able to take him out. Nevix with the kill on Tivik. 2 kills here, 3 kills for Impulse 11. And they're moving this forward, taking control of the point, and they should be able to get control in the middle first here.
Yeah, it'll unlock in 5 seconds, but a full team wipe is going to allow them to take that absolutely for free. They just have a much stronger initiation, aggressive composition with the Tracers and with your Genji, whereas IDDQD, we didn't mention the roster, but they're running double McCree, a little bit more passive, a little more defensive, and they just kind of got rolled in on. Here they come, though.
They're coming right back. A pulse bomb from IDDQD, though, going to take out Tivik. And just a very quick double kill for the defense of Impulse 11. They look way stronger in Nepal than they looked on the previous 2 maps here. And IDDQD in a bit of trouble here on round 1.
Yeah, I think they're going to back up. They might try to come back through here again when they get their players back up. It seems like this is the angle they want to approach it on. They don't want to give up high ground. They want to take this immediately.
Take a look at this though. Nevix with the Dragon Blade, gonna bring it out immediately. Going to the back line, no. Tivik says absolutely not. Crunches him with the Deadeye. And now 2 kills for IDDQD off their McCree play. Oh wow, Taimu goes off as well. Nothing but blue McCrees in the kill feed. And IDDQD going to pull this right back. So really nice stuff coming out from Tivik and Taimu there.
Yeah, the High Noon actually cleaned that up too. 4 kills, all McCree kills there. But 44% is a good first time, but we've seen it's difficult to take maps back. I guess this is the new meta where like they're just gonna fight through this corridor, take this high ground back. This is where all the fighting is gonna happen. A little different than some what we've seen in the past.
Yeah, and this is, I mean, it's going to be a little bit difficult for them. Coco will have a Graviton Surge up to help defend. Internet Hulk's going to Primal Rage, so even if this doesn't go up for IDDQD, they should be able to stall it for a while. That being said, Tivik able to get one of the Tracers. Hulk onto Likely. This is now 6v4, 6v3. And really a strong showing from IDDQD, striking right back. This fight going entirely in their favor.
Yeah.
Not too much to be said, just everyone won their fights in that battle.
Yeah, a really awful outcome for Impulse 11 because not only did they not get any kills in that fight, but now the defense is completely stacked with ultimates. It's going to be up to IDDQD, the player, to maybe hit a clutch pulse bomb, take down the resurrection of the sound barrier before they can drop, but they're going right into a very stacked defensive position to IDDQD.
Well, the interesting thing is if they all come in via the side they're looking at, they all could get just absolutely destroyed by this Graviton. Graviton Surge is going to come out. It grabs the entire team. Moving up and looking at this here, there's still no kills off it just yet. They are able to hang on, at least for a little bit. Rez coming up, bringing up the fallen Tivik. And really a good job from Impulse 11 not getting crushed by that. That looked absolutely brutal. And they're able to survive. IDDQD even thriving, takes out Chiptogen.
Yeah.
And now Impulse 11 with a lot of momentum off of what could have been a very poor team fight for them.
An absolutely clutch Winston shield saved that Graviton Surge. I mean, like you mentioned, they all got caught up, but he had kept his shields off of cooldown, able to drop that, put a protective fishbowl around them, and they lost no one, even though that Graviton Surge was great. It grabbed most of them.
Yeah, so Impulse 11 now with a chance of stealing back round number 1. They're going to have to push back IDDQD about 2 times here. We'll see if they can do it. IDDQD, the player, moving in, going to get taken out by Tivik. You don't want to start out the fight in a 6v5. Nevix, though, coming right back in as Reaper. Reaper doing some work, 5v5 now. He's in the middle of it. Vipe have a Death Blossom up soon, not able to build it in time. Taimu taking him out. Both sides getting their looks in here as IDDQD trying to push in onto the point.
Yeah, very close at 83 versus 73 right now. The fight actually finally migrates towards the point for the first time this map.
We do have Rez coming up for Impulse 11. Pulse Bomb goes off, connects, down goes Coco. IDDQD, the player looking for a few more pickoffs, does get some good poking, has to back out a bit. IDDQD not quite out of it. Taimu with the double kill. It could be High Noon in a moment. Deadeye at the ready. Down goes Nevix. And Taimu making this fight his own. 3 kills for him so far, going to get taken out by IDDQD in the end, but Tivik with his backup, and IDDQD going to take control of the point.
Likely needed to stay alive there. He was out in no man's land alone, as a Zenyatta is not a life you want to live. He was able to take down a Bridgebot, but he had Transcendence up, and he has no mobility options to get to the front line while this fight's going to happen. It's going to be 5v6 because he just died there.
Now Tivik adding on, is able to get the double kill. Great shots coming in as McCree. Death Blossom comes out, doesn't get as much value as they would have liked. 4 kills now for IDDQD, and this should be the round for them. unless they have some weird issues cleaning it out.
Yeah, here comes Likely very late to the fight, transcends onto the point there. I mean, I think it's a mistake that he should have got out there as quickly as he could. I mean, of course, Zenyatta does not really have the escape options as some other heroes, but it looked like he was sticking around too long, kind of re-engaged, where he could have been able to get out of there alive. And if that fight goes off during a Transcendence, it might go a completely different way.
So, taking a look here as both teams set up yet again. We're going to... Not too much in the way of changes, but we do have the double Winston coming out from IDDQD, so they are going with the comp we've seen time and time again. Looking at this is the Shrine phase of Nepal. So it's not the Sanctuary phase where you have the big pin in the middle, but still double Winston pretty good here. Not going to be quite mirrored on the other side. In fact, we have a Widowmaker coming out from Zebosai. I wonder how effective that's going to be versus this double Winston.
It's a great Widowmaker stage, but it is going to be interesting to see how effective it is against this very health-heavy comp.
Tivik able to get in, takes out IDDQD, likely on the Coco. Impulse 11 getting the better of this here so far. Zebosai looking for picks, does get a few pokes in, not quite able to get a full kill just yet. Both teams swung over the point. Neither team really has done enough to grab it just yet. Hysterica, though, going to get taken down. Tivik doing some work in here, and this could be first point for IDDQD.
Yeah, even though it was relatively bloodless, the 2 kills that did happen were both supports for Impulse 11, which really kind of hurt their overall presence on the point. Zebo was able to take down Chips, though, so not quite even captured yet. There it finally flips over.
It does flip over to IDDQD. Impulse 11 now has to get back in on this. The Bridge Buff and Taimu going off, getting a kill each. Here comes the Dragon Blade, though, coming in from Nevix. Nevix slicing, dicing, looking to turn this Impulse 11's favor, but everyone is sort of kiting him around. He's not able to get what he wants. Dragon Blade not getting a whole lot of value there, and he's just going to get taken out by the Winstons in the end.
Yeah, hard to just do a Dragon Blade trying to track down tracers with her infinite mobility abilities. Just kind of, he looked a little lost there, like swatting flies that he could not quite catch.
Spawn coming from Vonnefield. Vonnefield connects, gets the double kill.
Huge.
Might have an opportunity now as 3 kills for the side of Impulse 11. They're moving forward. Soldiers at the ready. Vonnefield makes it a triple. And this, a very good push coming up from Impulse 11. They should be able to take this back from IDDQD. And the question is, will they be able to hold on to this?
Yeah, it's also good too that Likely has his Transcendence up. They can hang out on the point and feel pretty safe. If they are under any pressure, he can pop his Transcendence. It's also going to save him from any incoming pulse bombs. Hysterica also with a Sound Barrier. They're in pretty decent position as far as ultimates go right now.
Yeah, Zebosai even almost has a Death Blossom as well. He's going to be able to throw that in on IDDQD as they jump in. Now, for IDDQD, they're going to be able to leap in as Winston. They do have 1 Primal Rage, but they're going to meet Zebosai. They're going to feed him a Death Blossom. We'll see how that works out. Vonnefield able to take out Chips. Tivik unlikely. Both teams 5v5, and the Death Blossom gets absolutely 0 value after Zebosai gets knocked back. Tivik able to shoot Zebosai in the back. Moving forward, has IDDQD in his sights. Tracer battle. IDDQD takes it. And this is really back and forth on both teams.
Yeah, I mean, one thing to note, though, despite them winning that fight, it looks like their ultimates have been off by mere feet, or I suppose we're in EU, so meters, but some people did not get the offensive, or did not get the defensive Sound Barrier buff there because Hysterica was very far ahead on those stairs. Zeboside missing again on his Death Blossom. They're off just a little bit, by a few meters.
Yep, they will have the defensive transcendence up here. IDDQD a little bit too aggressive. Taimu with the point-blank Widow Snipe, and now the door is open for IDDQD as they move forward. Defensive Transcendence will go down. That's going to really help Impulse 11. They get 3 kills off of that. Taimu, though, still alive, is able to take out Zebo. Resurrect going to bring up the Fallen Heroes, likely now in trouble. Taimu going off, has 3 kills so far in this fight, moving forward, looking for more. And IDDQD putting themselves in a good position to retake control of the center.
I think that pick that Taimu got towards the end of that fight was really the signal to actually resurrect there. You don't want to resurrect and still just be in an even fight. You want to resurrect into an advantage. And Taimu able to get that kill really decided, hey, we're still in an advantage. Bring everyone back up. Let's take this point. And that's exactly what they did.
Yep, and Tivik now actually being pretty aggressive at this McCree positioning, looking to pick someone off if he can, hoping that, someone comes through this hallway, he gets a free kill, and that alone would buy IDDQD a lot of time. Time-wise, they need to get about 2 full wipes to win this round, but if they win this round, they will win the set in a very decisive 3-0. That being said, the offense moving in, but look at Tivik. Tivik flanking in from the back. If he gets 1 kill here, normally he's going to get a Deadeye as well. He only needs to hit 1 more shot for the Deadeye, gets the first kill, gets a second, and he might not even need the Deadeye to clean this out.
No, they ran in, they had 2 pulse bombs, and they got 0 out of them from Vonnefield and IDDQD. They're both very low health on the point now. Vonnefield's got another pulse bomb up, trying to go huge.
Up and Tivik able to get the final shot on IDDQD, and now this is panic time for Impulse 11. If they want to stay alive in the set, they need to come in. They need to force overtime, and they need to win this round. Deadeye coming out from Tivik as a zoning measure. Does a lot of damage to Winston. Down goes Nevix. Meanwhile, Zebosai coming in from the back. His Death Blossom could be their last hope. Needs to get one shot, but no, he's taken out by Internet Hulk. And things now looking very, very grim for Impulse 11. Pulse bombs are going off. Tracers on the point, trying to go for heroics, but what a thing they must do here. IDDQD going to go down. Zebosai and Vonethil coming back onto the point. Kill feed much more blue than red here so far, but still Impulse 11 not entirely dead. They're still doing enough to stay in this, and they're getting on top of the point, pushing back. IDDQD now, 2 big kills from Nevix and Primal Rage.
Yeah, Primal Rage doesn't do a ton of damage, but it does enough to kill Widows and other squishies, gets in there, able to kind of really just zone them out on the point. I'm really surprised they're able to flip that back over. Now they're on 3 Tracers, which they had switched to just on the defense, but it's actually not too bad to be on 3 Tracers.
Yep, they're moving in. We do have a defensive sound barrier coming up here for Impulse 11. Taimu, though, goes off, gets 2 picks before Zebosai takes him down, but that could still be the difference maker here. Take a look, Tivik looking for what he can get on McCree. Taimu gets rezzed up, takes out Hysterica. Taimu just on a roll, has 4 kills here on this point, and this should be it for IDDQD.
Yeah, Vonethil's
there will be an overtime, though.
Yeah, there's gonna be several overtimes, perhaps, because they have all these Tracers great at extending points, but wow, they get clean up Vonethil.
They're gonna have to run through Taimu here. He must defeat my Taimu to stand a chance. We'll see if he can pick off the other Tracer. Does end up missing. Internet Hulk takes out Nevix. But overall, this is just do or die time for Impulse 11. It doesn't matter if they're chaining deaths. They have to keep it in overtime no matter what. The Tracers are running in to the point. This is just, they have to keep going Tracers. They have to keep it going. They have to hope for pulse bombs. That's about all they have. The Winston going to leap in. And this is just, again, do or die time. The kill feed is nothing but blue. But if you're Impulse 11, what do? You have to keep running in. You have to hope for a miracle. But IDDQD doing a good job of crushing that miracle.
Yeah, really towards the end, the strategy is let's keep getting our Tracers in, let's get pulse bombs and pray. They were able to take down Chips with a single pulse bomb somewhere in there, but that is another stage for IDDQD map and set, I believe.
Play the game coming out from Taimu. Taimu had some great plays here this game, both on Widow and as McCree. This is relatively early into the game. Deadeye comes out, gets a double Deadeye, and this is where I think we noticed where like both McCrees just went absolutely off.
They're able to flip it around. You know, we talked about just like having versatility on your roster and bringing Tivik back in, Taimu back in, and then of course when Taimu wants to come onto Sniper, which he's excellent at, then someone else can even go on a hit scan. And you know, in the absence of Tivik and Mendo, we saw Internet Hulk also playing a lot of hit scan as well, and he had a decent game on McCree too. There's a lot of very valuable players, I think, who are valuable mostly for their versatility, and Internet Hulk actually comes to mind. Jokes aside, memes aside that he plays Winston and Symmetra, he's had great games on Tracer. He had a good game on McCree. They're having someone who can play nearly any hero in Internet Hulk and play it at the very least competently makes the rest of your roster so much better.
It definitely helps a lot. So we're going to be taking a short break as we move into our next set of the day. We have 5 sets to bring here today because we have to make up 1 set. So Overwatch all day long here on the Overkill.GG League. Next match going to be Creation Esports, the artist formerly known as Flat Earth, versus Reunited. Should be a really, really good match. Stay tuned, and we'll be bringing that to you guys in about 6 minutes or so. Back in a bit.